Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden, and I'm just trying to stay cool. It's really, really warm in Seattle. Actually, it's probably hot in Seattle and in King County. It's my joy to be on the air. This is a powerful week. This up we in this week. We have the two famous people's birthday. August 16th is Ronoko Rashidi, and Thursday is Marcus Garvey's birthday. So I have Mr. Rai here. He's going to come on and tell us about all of the happenings. That's going to be all the things going to be happening the last weekend of this of August, which August is a hot month. I mean, August has been hot. A hot month. Lots of stuff, hot stuff going on. How you doing, Mr. Rai?
I'm doing fine, Reverend Harriet. I see you staying cool.
Well, yeah, I'm in my car, just like to say, but I'm not driving. I'm hands
It's,
free.
it's 86 in Seattle, but it's 91 in Renton.
Wow, gee whiz.
Yeah, so it is warm, but we're talking about the 60th anniversary of the August 28th, 1963 March on Washington, D.C. for Jobs and Freedom, attended by between 250,000 and 300,000 individuals. No fights, nobody got shot. But because of that, and that's where Dr. King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech, all the civil rights organizations were involved. The prime organizer was A. Philip Randolph and Bayard Rustin, but it also involved Roy Wilkins from the NAACP, Whitney Young from the National Urban League, as well as a plethora of clergy and other civil rights workers and leaders throughout the country. To that end, as you know, the Supreme Court has been diligent in chipping away at the rights we gained 60 years ago.
Yeah.
And recently, some people thought they were immune from the acts, but we also saw what happened to a woman's right to choose. Now, I know before when Donald Trump talked about what he did to women, he still got 53% of the white female vote. Hopefully, enough women are upset, regardless of color or ethnicity, that they would be upset about anyone trying to take away the right to choose. And that's been proven in Kansas and recently in the state of Ohio, where they tried to manipulate the system, raise the threshold, and they end up losing horribly because the women and other people who are for people's rights turned out and far exceeded the threshold that was set by that right-wing Republican control legislature in Ohio State.
Right.
But in Seattle, Dr. King came here once in 1961. He spoke at two assemblies at Garfield. He also was a classmate with the late Reverend Dr. Samuel Berry McKinney.
Yes.
They were classmates for 1 year. Dr. King entered Morehouse when he was 15 years old. Reverend McKinney went 1 year and got drafted into the Army because of World War II. But when Reverend King graduated, he was 19 years old. And then, figure 20 years later, he's falls to an assassin's bullet for all the work that he did. But what we have to do is recommit ourselves as the pastors came up with the theme, Dreams Unfinished, not a commemoration, but a continuation, continuation to struggle for our rights. And a lot of people have a misinterpretation of the 64 Civil Rights Act and the 65 Voting Rights Act. I spent the first 10 years of my life in Shreveport, Louisiana, and the only people relegated to the back of the bus or drinking out the colored water fountain were Black people. Everybody was treated as white. So we can't say, it did give rights to all people of color, but the laws were meant for African descendants of the United States enslaved. That's
right.
who the segregation was meant for and intended.
Right. That's right.
That's who suffered the brunt of it. So
that's who suffered the brunt of it, and that's who Thurgood Marshall went to the Supreme Court for.
There you go. And on working closely with Reverend Dr. Linda Smith, the distinguished pastor of the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Baptist Church in Renton. She's been really taking the lead, and with the pastors, Reverend Steve Baber has been out there along with Reverend Dr. Kerry Anderson, and always they got you on the list too of the pastors that will be speaking. This will be on Friday, August 25th, beginning, the doors open at 6:45. The preach-in event will last from 7 to 9 p.m. And we'll have this flyer up on Facebook and everywhere else. But, You will hear the prophetic voices of Reverend Dr. Linda Smith, Reverend Dr. Steve Baber, Rabbi Daniel Weiner, Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown, Reverend Dr. Gwendolyn Coates, Reverend Dr. Leslie Braxton, Reverend Dr. Kerry Anderson, Reverend Dr. Robert L. Jeffrey Sr., and Reverend Mother Harriet Walden.
Oh, they got me on the list for preach. Okay.
You're on the list, and they can't leave you off the list. So
Well,
that will be Friday, and we're really hoping on and there's going to be Tana Yasu's doing a good job. You heard from her last Monday about the youth event that's being held there, where they're going to have young leaders coming in. Like there's one young brother, Demarion Sisney, worked at Microsoft for a couple of years. Now he has 6 engineers working for him. We've folks like Chandler Williams, who's one of the musicians and leaders of the Young Persons Choir. He's also a recording artist. And then Claude Burfeck on the King County Labor Council will be bringing people into apprenticeship programs. But so there'll be a wide variety of activities from 10 to 5. Free food. There's a brunch at 10 o'clock. There's going to be lunch served. And there'll be a lot of information about opportunities for younger adults, as well as some guidance for people who are much younger and still in middle school and high school. There'll be something for everybody there. And then on Sunday, the 27th, at 3 o'clock p.m., there'll be a march from the Jimi Hendrix Park down to the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Civil Rights Park. And I'm still waiting to hear back from Chief Adrian Diaz, because I want to make sure we don't have no problems with a permit. It's only 0.6 per mile, but I believe in playing by the rules and making sure something obstructed. So I have that called into the chief to let him know. And that will be, you will hear from a variety of speakers. It's not going to be a speech where there's a keynote speaker, but we're going to have all various interests of the community by ethnicity, by folks who have been involved and struggle for their rights. We are inviting people from the Japanese American Citizens League, Rabbi Daniel Weiner. I will also be inviting people from the Native American community, as well as those pastors will be speaking again. And then other folks from labor will also be involved. And at the end of the rally, there will be also, I'm going to say, Josephine Howe has been committed. She will be there. Butch Harrison will be there. Waiting to hear back from Chandler Williams in terms of the attainment. And I don't think she knows it yet, but we're going to be asking Chardonnay Beaver, the granddaughter of the founder of the Fax Fitzgerald Beaver. She'll be one of the leaders in the youth event, but she also will probably be doing something on the rally at the Martin Luther King Park, because we want to make sure that we have our young leaders out there, as well as our more seasoned leaders who can talk about the experience. Like we have 2 people who were actually at the 1963 march. That was Attorney Lim Howell and Claude Burfeck. They both were at the August 28, 1963 march 60 years ago. And I can't say it enough, to have between 250,000 and 300,000 people, and everybody is focused on getting their freedom. That they stuck to business and went back to their respective places where they resided, various cities and towns, and started working. And that's what we have to continue to do, because of the fact we have people who don't intend for us to experience true rights in the United States of America. And when you have people, hypocrites like Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, who every week you find out something different where he's taking money. Last Monday, they revealed he had one of the billionaires bought him a $267,000 RV. And then ProPublica went through and found out he had 38 private jet trips and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's absolutely amazing how the Supreme Court justices don't have any kind of code of ethics to abide by. And
I don't think the other guys. This is a new day here. This level of improprieties and all this stuff that's going on. And I guess to say that Justice Thomas has come a long ways from the cotton fields in Georgia.
He got everything he got was through affirmative action.
Everything, and they're still getting something through affirmative action.
He sure is. He certainly is.
He was
all
the
the
first
jet
American
travels,
judge
the
too, boy.
yachts,
Yeah.
the buy your mama's house. I mean, there's just absolutely. But I was on a call with the Tacoma Pierce County Black Collective, and they had retired Judge Frank Culberson on,
Okay.
and he was saying that if he went to lunch with someone, he had to report it.
Yeah, this is what it's supposed to do, and
That's what you're supposed to
that's why
do.
it's supposed to be unbiased, and that type of stuff. But one day when the book is written about him, we'll see how we'll see how he interrupted us for moving towards what we should get in America by being compromised and all those bills that came before him. How he always voted with his wife opinion and all of that stuff. I mean, one thing about it won't stay there forever. It's going to come out about him, and who knows? He might just have to, but he has no shame. Some people
It's
would be
obvious
ready
he
to
has
suicide.
absolutely no shame
He has
whatsoever.
no shame. He
And the
has no
thing
shame.
about him that he used to be dressed like a Black Panther when he was in college, and all of a sudden he just went completely south. Every job he got was through affirmative action,
That's
and
right.
even the judgeship. And then if they had Anita Hill hearing today with Clarence Thomas, he never would have been confirmed. And President Joseph Biden was president of the Senate when that was going down, but that
Right.
was when in in the early '90s, women just didn't have the respect that they have today, and there's no way he would have made it if that hearing was held today, because he lied about everything else, and he lied about Anita Hill, and that's why I was
Right.
so happy that the Martin Luther King Committee gave Anita Hill the award in 1993, and I took it back to D.C. because I was back for Bill Clinton's first inauguration. So, and she
Right.
also came up to the University of Washington about 20 years ago, and I was able to talk to her out there as well. So she
That's
truly is an amazing person, and she'll go down as history as one of the
right.
women that really fought for
Tell the
justice
truth.
to receive injustice.
Well, listen now. Friday night. Where's the event being held at Friday night? And is there an event on Sunday? On Monday. Okay.
Friday is going to be at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Baptist Church, and I can give you the address right now. That will be at 4319 Northeast 10th Street, Renton, Washington 98059. The doors will open at 6:45, and it's being hosted by Reverend Dr. Linda Smith, and she's put together a dynamic group of clergy to speak truth to power, to get the whole weekend started. And the pastors came up with the theme, which we adopted, dream unfinished, continuation, not commemoration.
Right on. Now, what about Monday on the 28th? Is there an
On the
event?
28th, right now, there's supposed to be some panels that will be streamed live. And we'll have more information that probably by the end of the week. So I can
Okay.
update you on that
Okay. Now
on
you
next
can
Monday.
update us on next Monday. Yeah. I'm going to be away from my show, but I'll have somebody there. I mean, it'll be Haywood or maybe Chikundi, so I'm not sure yet. We will have a show on Monday. So, and I'll talk to Haywood, see if he's available also.
Okay, well, I'll be available too. So just let me know.
Okay, all right. Well, this is good as usual. But just before we go, you always have to put Florida in the mix. So I'm going to be going to break in a few minutes. But you see how he's getting rid of all the prosecutors down in Florida?
I tell you, the man is a bigot through and through, true and true, and he's not going to
Well,
go
I mean,
anywhere.
I think, I mean, if the female attorneys, I don't know her name right now. She's going to sue, so this might wind up to the Supreme Court. Because you just can't take away the people's right. The people voted for these people,
Exactly,
and
exactly,
and then they have not been charged with a crime. They have not been found guilty of a crime. See, I mean, that's
exactly.
one way you get out of office. You found guilty of a felony. If you're a felon, most times you can't serve in a public office. Or people usually get rid of you by recall. That's usually what they do for people in an elective office. They will recall you to remove
Well,
you.
you know what? That's really interesting. You mentioned that there's a black guy by the name of Simi Bird. He is a Republican and a military veteran that's running for governor. And on August 1st, he and two other school board members were recalled in Richland, Washington, because he didn't want people to wear a mask during the COVID. So anyway, I don't know what kind of chance he gonna have to become governor if you can't stay on your own school board. So just wanted to mention that.
Wow. All right, Mr. Wright. Well, hey, we will continue this conversation and know I'm glad the title, I say the title once again for this illustrious weekend coming up.
It's Dream Unfinished, continuation, not commemoration. And the
All
Dream
right.
Unfinished refers to Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech that
Right.
was given at that 1963 March on Washington.
All right, then. Hey, that's cool. I'm always jazzed. I graduated in 1960, so hey, and I'm praise God, I'm still alive. So hey, all right.
You and I both on that one, man.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Wright. Thank you for being on, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. I'll be right back. Thank you.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
This is Martha Norwalk, every Sunday morning beginning at 9 a.m. Thanks in part to Dr. Nels Rasmussen at HealingMinistryForAnimals.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, August 20th, it's Behavior Training and Healing Sunday with me, and talk with your animals or human loved ones on this side or the other, feng shui and personal awareness coaching with Natasha Venter. Hope you can join us and plan to call in with your questions for either one of us or for a personal reading with Natasha. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here at Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Wherever you go, Alternative Talk 1150 is here for you.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. And we do need a bridge over troubled water. Absolutely, we do. And Mr. Rye was talking about what's going to be happening the weekend of the 28th. I'm going to bring my next guest on. She's not been on the radio before, but we've talked many times. Her name is Miss Katherine Wilkins, and she has some information that I'd like for her to share. Welcome, Katherine. How are you doing?
Oh, I guess I'll make it.
Yeah, you are making it. Yes, she's making it. I want to just introduce you to the community for all my listening and all the people who will catch this on the podcast. I met you at Union up by the old post office. Before all of that was before we were had some more buildings taken down and other things was built there. And it was the first reunion that Africa Town had. And we were just sitting by one another, and I don't know how the name of Marcus Garvey came up. I don't even remember. But all I know is that we started talking.
I remember how it went.
Okay, well, I'll let you tell me then. How did it go, Ms. Katherine?
You see, that was my first time being there, of course. And
mine too.
Yes. Somebody else. And
okay.
I asked you. I said, "Do I know you?" And you said, "No, I don't think so." And then you were talking to this other lady. I don't know who she was, and you mentioned Marcus Garvey, and my ears perked up. I said, because nobody talks about Marcus Garvey. I haven't heard nobody talk about Marcus Garvey but my mom. And my ears perked up. I said, I wasn't trying to be nosy, but when you said that, I said, oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's how we met.
Yes. And we've been talking ever since.
Right.
And you've come to the book club and down and had a conversation. And this Thursday is Marcus Garvey's birthday. We're having a party. But I just want you to just explain. I was so excited to hear your story that your mother was a young lady. I mean, she was young. About how old was your mother?
Oh, let me see. Was she 7 or 8? Something like that.
Okay.
I think she was 7 or 8 years old.
And what did she do with Marcus Garvey? What happened?
Well, the ladies. Well, my grandma came to town. Well, they came here in 1919.
Right.
They were taking the money to get a ship to go to Africa.
Right, that's right. Then he had had the nurses with him, I believe,
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't nurses because they weren't allowed
No,
to
no,
be a
no,
nurse.
no. They weren't allowed to be
They
a
were
nurse,
Black
but they
Cross
knew. They
nurses.
knew.
They were Black Cross
Right.
nurses.
Yes.
They weren't allowed to be a nurse, but they were allowed to march in the parades and
Right.
the 4th of July parade, and they wore their white uniforms and the stash across their chest. They were real proud.
Yes, real
They were
proud.
really
Say that
proud.
word again. They were real proud.
Oh, real proud. Starched white uniforms, and the men wore their stashes.
Yeah.
And they would march in the parades and stuff. And when they heard Marcus Garvey, well, they sent for Marcus Garvey, I guess.
Right.
And when he did come, they wore their white uniforms and the stash across the chest, and they met him at Union Station.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and they gave my mama the flowers to give to him. She was so surprised and so happy. Oh, she was happy.
Right.
She was a happy little lady. And that's what they did. They gave her the flowers, and she gave to him. She said, well, I heard so much about him, but I thought he was a tall man, a giant, She said, and he wasn't much bigger than me, and I'm only 5'2". She said, I'm only 5'2", but he had broad shoulders.
Yeah.
She really enjoyed that. She always talked about Marcus Garvey.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a fabulous story. I mean, and so she had such an impression. He came to Seattle twice in the 1920s. Yeah, he came twice. Well, according to Quinton Taylor, I mean, in his information, he said it was twice. But I'll research it. I know one time he was at Washington Hall.
Yeah. Well, they had the big spread, the food and everything waiting for him.
Oh yeah, right. And also they were at First AME, and I think they marched from First AME to Washington Hall at one point.
Well, I know. I'm not sure where they marched from, but I know they marched from that Union Station to Washington Hall, where they had big dinners and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, but also Seattle had a large following of Marcus. It was a large following of Garveyites here. I mean, because ever since I've met folks who parents was either from Jamaica or they were actually was part of Marcus Garvey. They knew about Marcus Garvey, and so he had an impact here. In fact, one of the doctors that I know that used to go to Jamaica often talked about Marcus Garvey, and Richard Haynes, Dr. Richard Haynes, he's a chiropractor. And he talked about and actually he had some coins that I had. I don't know if I have a lot of them now. That he gave me coins that I would give out to the young people who had never seen Black people own money on coins before, because we live in America.
Me 2 of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did. You gave me 2 of them. I got them in my book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got them in your book. Well, now and as your mother grew up, and of course, I want you to also talk a little bit about about growing up here in Seattle, because it was different then than it is today, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And people had a lot of pride. I mean, you talked about that pride. Pride, because I grew up when people had pride too, and social
respect and pride. We had lots of that.
And so social engineering has taken a lot from us, and also integration has taken a lot, because somehow we didn't teach our children history. We somehow people stopped teaching history, and I don't know why. And so, as Marcus Garvey says, a people without their history is like a tree without any roots.
Right.
And somehow people got programmed that we were in a different era now, and it didn't matter. But what we saw in Montgomery, Alabama last weekend, it does matter. I mean, we have to know our history, and
history. Yeah, you got to know the past to get to the future. That's true.
That's true. Now, how many sisters do you have?
I have 3 sisters.
3 sisters.
There's 4 of us all together.
With all you all together. And I mean, just to think that your mother gave the flowers to Marcus Garvey before you all was ever thought about.
Oh yeah, I wasn't back in 1920 something.
Because she was a girl, and now you all at this age still carry and talk about Marcus Garvey.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what impact.
Yeah.
What an impact that he had on her, and the impact he had on other people. I mean, really, Marcus Garvey was bold. I mean, he was bold and unafraid.
Yeah.
And since he was Jamaican, he had a lot of, a lot of
Uh-huh.
Americans organized. A lot of the elite people that we think about in history today, W.D. Du Bois and A. Philip Randolph,
Yeah.
all these people was against Marcus Garvey, see,
Mhm. Yeah, I know Du
as he was
Bois was. I
organized.
know he was.
Yeah, yeah, and there was a whole bunch of them that was, and the
Mhm.
editor of the Chicago Defender was also against Marcus Garvey. But
Mhm.
that, so we'll come back to Marcus Garvey in a few minutes. But just let's talk about what life was in Seattle. And I know your father. You said I know longevity runs in your
Yeah.
lineage, and so yeah, let's talk a little bit about how it was when you were growing up with your
Um,
family.
it was okay. I didn't grow up with too many black kids though. Our cousins and
Okay.
stuff. We grew up with cousins. They were black, but not too many black kids. In the neighborhood, there was none. We weren't allowed to play with the little white kids.
So where did you grow up at?
Right here, right down on Martin Luther King Way. Well, it wasn't called that then. It used to be.
Empire Way.
Yeah. Well, before that it was called 27th Avenue South, and it was
Oh,
just a.
okay.
It
So
wasn't.
it
It
was
was just a dirt road. It wasn't. It was. It's called road, wasn't a highway. It was just a little
okay.
dirt road.
So it wasn't very many black people down in the valley then, because
No,
that's like going to the
no,
valley.
no.
Okay.
We didn't. We really didn't have too many black kids. We didn't grow up with too many black kids. No, there
Okay.
wasn't.
Okay. So the black families must have been up the hill.
Um,
I mean, because people
very
talk
little.
about but people talk about how many black people lived in the central area.
Yeah.
When I
And we.
came, I came in '75, so it was a lot of black people in the central
Well,
area when I
yeah. I
came.
got a whole list of everything that we lost from 23rd and Jackson. We had like a little mall up there. I got a whole
Wow.
list of everything that's gone now.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah. And
I want to make sure that you get that recorded. I mean, my son sometimes they do history and stuff, so and
mhm.
yeah, because I want to make sure that people know
Oh
that
yeah.
the central area was self-sufficient.
Oh
That
yeah.
people that told me. So you want to talk about a little bit what we had there in that area?
Oh gosh, you had so much stuff. We had hardware stores. We had furniture stores. We had dimes, 5 and dime cent stores. We had fish markets. Shoot, it was a lot of stuff we had. Like I said, I wrote down everything we had. You know where Mount Baker Church is?
Yes, ma'am.
That used to
Mm-hmm.
be a theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we used to go there, little kids, to the theater. It was called
Wow.
Mount Baker then too, but that used to be our little theater we used to go to.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gee, well,
a lot of things.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, and just to see how what has happened to
Yeah.
it today, and also to see that we went from being proud for and having pride
Mhm.
in who we were and who we are as a people to a lot of our young people don't seem to know or they don't understand
No, they
the
don't.
relationship of history to now. I mean, and how they owe so much of who they are to their ancestors and the
Mhm.
people who came before them. I mean, because nobody gave birth to themselves.
That's true. That's
you know,
true.
you know, e-
That's
even,
true.
even even some of these people might think they gave birth to themselves, and some
But
of
they
them even
didn't.
think they potty trained themselves. Okay, and taught themselves their own ABCs.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Oh,
When I
well,
graduated from Franklin High School, you know where Franklin High School is?
yes, I do.
Yeah.
I got a grandson now. My youngest grandson is going to be a senior there now because he wasn't
Mhm.
able to get into Garfield, and that so-called legacy didn't help him because all my kids went to Garfield. But
Oh. Well, most of the black
oh
kids
yeah,
did go to Garfield. I didn't get to go to Garfield. I had to go to Franklin. In fact, my mother went to Franklin High School.
oh your mother. And what
Yeah.
state did your mother? Where did she come from? And how did she get
She
to Washington State?
she came from she was born in Dallas, but she
Okay,
came here when she was like little bitty kid.
okay,
And
okay.
my grandparents came in 1919.
Oh, 1919.
Yeah, they was born
Oh
in
my goodness,
1887. They came here in
1887.
1919.
Wow, my grandmother who raised me was born in 1889.
Wow. Well, my grandma was 1887. Grandpa was 1885. And they came here.
Wow.
He wanted to lead the South. I really think he was threatened because
Okay.
like I said, when they have storms, the black people got to go clean it up. And
Oh,
he was
okay.
moving too slow, I guess, for him, and they cursed at him, and he got angry, and he never gets angry, and so he decided to leave. And they decided to leave, and Grandma got sick, so they decided to stay here in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Well, know what? I think I think Grandma got sick. Back in those days, anything they didn't know was the flu. When they didn't know it. And I think that's the same thing that's happening today. 200 year. What? How many? 100 years later, it came back in 2018.
Oh,
I think it is. I think it lay dormant all these years, and really, it did. Because back in those days, huh?
Yeah, because 1919, the pandemic was going on.
Yeah, it was.
That's right. That's right. It was going on.
Now, 2018, they came back. Probably
probably never did. Who knows? But I know it took a lot of people out there. It went from 1819, 1919, and 1920.
Yeah.
Lasted 3 years. It lasted 3 years. Wow.
Right, because Grandma got real sick. She got real sick, and my mother would go in her closet, and pray for her mama, pray for my mama, and she did.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
She got well.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? Go into the closet. My grandmother would be on her knees in a place that she was hidden behind the door, and I'd come home from school looking for my grandmother, and I'd be calling her name, and because she was usually always there. And then I go in her room, and behind the door was my grandmother praying. I mean, always praying. She was always praying. I pray. I mean, because she knew about the Klan and all of that stuff, and her father had beat the white man in 1898 and lived to tell it. So she understood about prayers and stuff like that, and what prayer would do.
Oh, wow.
And praying for children of the world, and especially in the community. But I saw you at the communion. I will take a break in a few minutes, but I saw you at the communion, you and your sisters. In fact, I saved a seat for you, and we had such a good time.
I know.
You said, well, so you don't know, people. And I said, oh, you need to stop saying that, Katherine. I keep introducing you to all these people. So you... And you get to be a star, especially when I say, oh, her mother gave the flowers to Marcus Garvey, and everybody say, oh, my goodness. So you and your sisters, and you're just so pleasant. And
thank you.
And I just really, really love history. But I really do, and I'm a history buff. I think that history for me is my Bible, because then history connects the dots from the past to the future, so that how we can get there. But I'm really interested in the fact that Seattle was self-sufficient at one time for Black people.
It was. I'll show you the list I made. From the old Central.
Okay. That'd be good, because I want to get
on. Huh?
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll make sure we get a copy of that list. Let's take a break and come back here and give you a few more minutes. I want to talk back with this illustrious star that I have on my show here today. So we're taking a break right now on Mother's Justice Show, and we'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
Hi, this is Dr. K. Mahina Intron, inviting you to tune in on Mondays on 1150 KKNW at 5 p.m. to Dr. K's Attuning to Your Abundance, where we honor everyday abundance through positive messages, poetry, music, affirmations, and writing exercises. For more information, contact Dr. K Workshops at gmail.com or Facebook, Dr. K's Abundance.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Conversation you won't find on the rest of the dial. Alternative Talk 1150.
Oh, yeah. Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air, and we want to thank King County Sheriff Department for sponsoring Mother's show. Also, um, I just want to bring my guest back in. It was Katherine Wilkins, and Wilkins and her mother gave flowers to Marcus Garvey when she was a girl. And welcome back, Katherine.
Okay.
Welcome back on the show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, it's nice.
And we were talking on the break about your family. I just happened to ask you how many children that you have, and then you want to just tell me what you said.
What I said about my grandson?
No. You said you had a daughter, and then how many children?
Oh yeah, I have a daughter, and I had 5 grandkids, and I have 2 great-greats.
Right. Yeah. Right, and then you wanted to mention your grandson, and what was his name?
His name was Sir William Gray Cunningham III.
Oh, bless his heart.
I know.
And what did you? And you said that a few years ago he committed suicide.
In 2012.
2012. Well,
yeah,
sometimes
August the 18th.
Wow, day after Marcus Garvey's birthday.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, and I want to offer you my condolence because I know it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. We learn to live with the tragedies that happen to us, and our death of our loved ones. But you were telling me that your father lived to be 105. Is that right?
105, and he was raised up in Winlock, Washington, a town about as long as your arm. That was it. One stop sign.
How did he get to Winlock, Washington, being a black man?
His mother brought him to Winlock, Washington. I don't know. I think he had an aunt or something there. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But his mother brought him. But it was like a German town. Winlock, Washington.
Yes, I can imagine. Yes, I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And and sometimes the Germans' attitude might not have been that pleasant for us when he was growing up. So.
But he loved that little raggedy town. It was a raggedy little town.
Did you ever go
that
there?
little town? It wasn't one stop light. They didn't even have a jail. One stop light, a hardware store, a grocery store, maybe a couple of churches. But he loved Winlock, Washington.
Wow. Well, he must have
the Grand Marshal of their parade.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, so he must have had some fond memories there, and then for him to be the Grand Marshal of their parade.
He talk your head off.
Well, so they must have had fun. They must have been, I really cared a lot by him, because you don't get to be the Grand Marshal of a parade without having some skin in the game, as young people say.
They looked him up to find him here in Seattle. So he could be the Grand Marshal.
And what was your father's name?
Franklin Wilkins.
Oh, Franklin Williams?
Wilkins. His name Wilkins. We're all Wilkins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
wow.
He lived there, and he lived in Kirkland, Washington. Kirkland across the water.
Yeah, at one time Kirkland had a lot of black people. I mean,
the oldest black family was our family.
Okay, so you're also related to Sabria Rahima then.
Hughley's,
Yeah, Hughley's. That's right. That's how I know about the people there, because Sabria was a friend of mine.
Yeah, I know.
Was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so he was raised up there too. So his dad built a house there in Kirkland, Washington, when it was just woods.
Right, it was just woods.
Yeah, Bellevue was woods too.
And so is Mercer Islands.
Oh, it was woods. Yeah, just woods and chickens and stuff.
Right, yeah. And people sometimes probably wish we had some woods and chickens right now instead of all these houses and all this stuff that we have.
Awful. Yeah.
Well, I want to make sure that you know about the party. It's on Thursday at the Liberty Bank Community Room where we've had it before.
Yeah.
It's going to be from 6 to 7:30.
Okay.
And we're going to have a cake and a little food and food.
Any kind of donations?
Well, yeah, you could give some donation to the book club. Yes, I mean, sure, we could get some donations.
My sister Shirley was saying, "Don't they need a donation?" I said, "I guess so."
Yeah, well, we could take a donation.
Yeah.
So want to make sure that you know about that, and let me know if you need a ride. Maybe I can arrange somebody to come and get you.
Live down the street.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Right. I just kneeled it down the street.
So we're really excited about Marcus Garvey party because we want to keep his name alive and the work that he did for us, and want people to know that a lot of things that they've written about him wasn't always the truth. And that he had a love for Black people. He wanted to see us free.
I know. My grandpa used to say, white people don't mind being white. How come Black people don't like being Black? Grandpa used to say that all the time. He said, and you're not colored because God didn't paint you. Grandpa was a wise little man.
Oh, what did he say again? Say that again.
He said, you're not colored because you weren't painted.
Oh, isn't that
white
beautiful?
people are proud of their race, so why can't Black people be proud of themselves?
Oh, yeah, it's all this programming. It took 300 years to make a slave out of us. Okay, 300 years for programming the mighty Africans to get to where we are today. But some of us is coming out of that programming, you know, because on a lot of the birth certificates in the South, you were either colored or Negro.
Yeah, right.
And on my birth certificate, I'm a Negro, and my mother's
Negro,
birth
me too.
a Negro, and so. But I do know being an African American is that you like an individual. And being part of a group, it's not like a group. So you don't have a cohesive group of people to come together no more, like they did on the March on Washington. And that's what we was talking about. The March on Washington was people who knew who they was, that they knew who they were on some level. And they all came together for that. And so now just trying to get people to come together and to understand that it is okay. I mean, really, because really we are a dominant gene. Being Black is a dominant gene. And dominant genes, that means we've been here and that we're dominant. And it's nothing you can do about that. See, the science is nothing. The science can't alter that. And we've been here for so long. I mean, we've been in the world for so long. I mean, left Africa over 250,000 years ago upright and went to every continent. See. That's why when they're digging up the bones, they still find the mighty Africans somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, I've enjoyed you being on my show. And
you're welcome.
I look forward to seeing you on Thursday, you and your sister. And let her know that let Shirley know that I did reach out I left a message for Elmer Dixon to get his book about the Panthers.
She said she doesn't have to do that. I said she wants to.
Oh, well, just accept the gifts. Okay. It's okay. She can be a great receiver. It's my joy to give her, to find that book for her. Because she told me she still liked to read. And I said, well, why can't I get that book for your sister? Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. And I invited Elmer to come to the party. Who knows? He might show up and bring the book.
Yeah.
Who knows? He might be that gracious if he's in town. Sometimes he's in the country, side of the country, because I know he spends a lot of time in Portugal and other places with the work he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing some international work about, I guess, about relationships and community, I believe, but I'm not sure. But so one thing before we go, you said when the Panthers, I want you to say this, you said that when the Panthers opened up their office, what happened to the community?
Well, we call it the white flight.
Okay.
In fact, that's how I got my house, I think, because they was ready to leave out of here. They were scared.
Well, it's too bad. It's that kind of fear today. But I say, what would happen if the Panthers open up an office on Union?
They ain't going nowhere this time, though.
Well, yeah, who knows?
They're here to stay. They ain't going nowhere this time. These are younger folks.
Yeah, well, anyway, I wasn't here. I didn't come to 75, so it's
you're young.
Yeah, I'm a youngster.
You are younger than me.
But you're my friend, and I'm so glad that we're friends and your family and your sisters and stuff. So I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Okay?
Okay, at 6:30.
Yes, ma'am. No, it's 6 to 7:30.
Oh, 6 to 7:30. Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you.
Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
Nice talking to you. Listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'll be right back. It's Reverend Walden.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
An alternative to everything else on your radio dial. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. The few minutes that I have left, I'm going to just mention we're having the Marcus Garvey party at the Liberty Bank building on 24th and Union. And it's from 6 to 7:30. Also, this is Mother's 33rd year. So September is our anniversary. I don't know if we're having a party yet, but I know we're going to have our breakfast in November. Our annual breakfast for the Attorney of the Year, the Thurgood Marshall Attorney of the Year that we give an award to. So keep those things in mind, and you can always go to our website, Mothers S on Mothers for policeaccountability.org, and give us a donation for the work that we do. I want to just read a few quotes by Marcus Garvey. The reason why I like Marcus Garvey is because he loved us. He loved Black people, and he was a liberator. I mean, he actually came for America looking for Booker T. Washington, but Booker T. had already died. He liked what Booker T. was doing there. Booker T. believed that you should be able to have brick and mortar and learn how to do things with your hand, because most times most things in those days was done by hand. And if you break your window, you still need somebody to put it in. So doing something with your hands is still valid today. You need a carpenter, a plumber. Actually, if you break your leg, you got to go to a doctor. He's going to use his hands to put a cast on you. So I mean, it's so many things that he had, and he had the right perspective on it. I'm just going to read a few of his quotes here. And one of the quotes was, "The God in whom we believe, we shall worship him through the spectacle of Ethiopia." And I think he believed that people should have a deity that looked like yourself. I mean, and I can understand that piece, because otherwise you wind up being confused and misled. The whole world is run on a bluff, is what he said. Because everybody's bluffing. Some people take the bluff and go ahead and go to war. Another one of his famous quotes is, "There is no force like success, and that is why the individuals make all efforts to surround himself throughout life with the evidence of it. As of the individual, so should it be of a nation." He says, nothing succeeds like success. Another one of his quotes is that there shall be no solution to the race problem until you yourself strike a blow for liberty. And liberty means self-determination. When you look up liberty, it means the ability to determine your own destiny without somebody else telling you what you have to do. That's what liberty means, because I looked it up. He says, "Unite all people of African ancestry of the world to be one great body, to establish a country, an absolute government of their own." And this is one of my favorites. "Up, you mighty race, accomplish what you will." That's right, because you've been downtrodden, you've been beat down, you've been trained that you're stupid and that you don't know anything, but yet and still, one of the things that I found out through all this testing that they can do with the mummies, they found out that all of the ancestry of the pyramid builders and the King Tut and all of them had Negro ancestry on it. They were Negroes and Negroid. So anyway, you know what that looks like for us. He says, whosoever things common to man that man has done, man can do again. That means if man has created something, another man can come along, create it, or woman, and create it better. He said, I love this one. With self-confidence, you have won before you have started. And that's what we have to make sure that our kids have. You have to send them out the door with the breastplate of confidence. So when people come at them and telling them what they can or cannot do, they have the strength of knowing who they are. They have the strength of knowing their history. Because if you know your history, you know your greatness. You know that almost everything that's in use today in America was designed by by a black man or woman. I mean, just look it up. I mean, everything. It's incredible. The pencil sharpener, the ironing board. I mean, really, the rolling pin. All of these things. Oh, wow. It's incredible. Incredible. The windshield wipers in your car. Lots of stuff. He says, I read 4 hours a day. And I tell you the truth, I was up to 2 hours a day before I got on Facebook. But I'm cutting that stuff back so I can go back, because I just love to see what I'd be like if I read 4 hours a day. One of the things that Marcus Garvey said, he said, if you could take an uneducated man and teach the man to read, a woman, and that in 2 years, 2.5 years, you will have an educated man. I really and truly. So, I mean, that's really is exciting to think about that. 4 hours a day. And he says, never go down in intelligence. And that means that surround yourself with people who are working to improve their intellect. I mean, because really, you have the ability to do that with the power that's inside of all of us. We have a great power in us that we're not using, and we're absolutely not using. But up, you might accomplish what you can. That's a great one. And we have to remember to tell our children that. And also about that confidence. I mean, confidence. And here's another one. He says, intelligence rules the day, and ignorance bears the burden. And you can see what has happened in America when people are not educated. I mean, ignorance does bear the burden. I mean, and also it takes so long to get out of poverty. I mean, it takes a generation or more to get out of poverty, because poverty, people have to be lifted out. And he understood that. He came with a plan to make us self-sufficient. And we're still working on that plan. I want to thank you for listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. Make sure you catch our podcast, okay? All right. See you next time. Have a great week. Stay hydrated and stay in front of the air conditioner to tell the truth. That's probably the best place for you to be. All right. Take care. This is Reverend Walden.